Hello everyone, I'm Steve. Mark's around somewhere, I'm not sure. And this is Smokeysteveandmarc. Welcome back, and happy Thursday! Leading up to a long weekend for some folks here in the States. I've got one coming myself. I'm off tomorrow, and then off Monday. So I have a little time to chill, do some self-care. Not self-indulgence, I don't need to sleep until 6 in the afternoon, but maybe a little extra sleep. Maybe a little extra special dinner. Maybe something that's a little fussy, you know? Usually I have like a 9 to 5 and, Monday to Friday, and you get weekends off. So it's nice to have extra time on top of that. So it's a mental health check-in, real talk I thought we would do today. I'll tell you what's going good, what's challenging, and where do we go from here. So in light of recent turmoil with broken vehicles, wrecked vehicles, insurance companies, catching rides, all that kind of stuff, things turned out pretty okay, actually, so we'll be in the market to buy a new car soon, based on what we got back from the insurance company. And we can either get a hoopty and buy the whole thing, or we can put some money down and make payments on it, or whatever. So we'll see what we decide to do there. So that was been like over the head of everything that's happened since it happened, because we didn't find out insurance stuff till a few days ago. I had every bit of coverage for everything except rental car. But everything else went pretty okay. I kind of was surprised at the amount of money that they were giving us for a car that was 13 years old with over 100,000 miles on it. But I'm not going to argue with their assessment, because usually they fuck people on that. I know, it's lowball. So we have a little bit of money coming in. We can replace what was gone. We couldn't replace Mark if he was gone, so, it is what it is. I'm thinking in my head, how is this going to work out? Because it is. It always does. But how is this going to work out? I was so surprised. So I was surprised by the amount we got from the insurance place, and then we get to go car shopping, mostly online. And it was a good resolution to a really shitty situation. Mark didn't get seriously hurt, thank God. The car was insured, thank God. Mark's license was valid, the car was registered, all that good stuff that came with it. So I have no idea how much the other person was compensated. I think it'll say on my policy when I look to see how much they collected. And I have accident forgiveness too. So that was the big to-do. And so every day since then, there's a little hobbling, there's some bruising, my back hurts, my head hurts, my neck hurts, periodically, but not all at once, and it's slowly going away. The pains now are just from rheumatoid arthritis, which is like, oh, not better, actually. So while going through that, I've been able to do much better actually in my mornings, getting out of the house. Mark worked from home for almost 2 weeks. And I started going to work about a half an hour earlier just to get comfortable and settled in my office before everyone comes in and says hello. And that's been good. And it's up and out. I see the cat on my way out. Oscar, not Bandit. Bandit doesn't like me. In the morning, particularly not in the morning. But I've made it a ritual that I check in with Oscar right before I leave and then right when I get home. And he'll run up and look excited that I'm leaving, and then be excited when I come back to get scratched and kitty butt and kitty belly and all that kind of good stuff. So there's another part of a routine that I like that's built in. Rather than having to do something unpleasant in the morning, I had that. And he's not going to let me go until I do it anyway. So I, come out and pet him for a while, and then double lock the doors because Mark's still here with his alarm blaring a foot from his head, like making all sorts of ringtone noises. It's like when someone's picking out a new ringtone, but they don't turn the volume down. So it's just full blast, different things that we all need to listen to. It's in that vein. So since that, and since the accident, Mark is, like I said, back at work a little bit, which is good. He was working from home a couple days also, which is good. So he's in a more productive place. When he feels useless, he gets squirrely. Like if it rains and he can't use the garden, and if it's too humid to do a craft or a project or something in the yard, he gets antsy, like something's wrong, like something is not right if he's not busy. So having downtime when he's sick was not something that I think he was looking forward to. But we got enough rub to put on everything. I had Advil rub, and then like Saint something else rub, and then holy water of Fatima. I don't know what else they had to keep him okay and to keep things put on him. So while he's had a rough few weeks, 2-3 weeks since this happened. His mood has been pretty good. It actually picked up quite a bit. I was really, really worried the first and second day because he was really not with it. I had never seen Mark not with it outside of when he got his cataract surgery done and he was a little looped out in the car on the drive home. But otherwise, I'm used to seeing him mostly as fine. And he doesn't complain like I do. I tend to be mopey and about it. I try not to be so selfish about it because he's like that every day. Every day. And when I have a headache and I don't want to leave my bed for 15 hours or so. But we're all coping better. We're all in a better spot than we were a little while ago. Like I said, my big concerns had been work, crying jags, and imposter syndrome. And of the few things I had been worried about, 2 of them resolved themselves just within the last month. Big concerns. One was related to work, and then there's another one that was related, of course, to traveling, or driving, as it were. And I don't know. Things have just slowed down a hair. And we're not driving at the moment. There's no car. So we're doing more walking. Mark went walking with me from work. He walked to my work and then we walked to the store. We did that a few days in a row to get him moving. And they told me in the ER, don't let him sit. Get him up, move him around. So I'm following doctor's orders just so we're all clear. So things are in a better spot than they were, I would say, a few weeks ago. How am I reacting to it? Throwing myself back into self-care. Bordering on self-indulgence, so we're going to try to stick with self-care. I have my routine in the morning with Oscar, when I see him and say hello, goodbye. Feeding the cats in the morning. They're a reason to get up, because even if I don't feel like I deserve to live, I don't want the cat to be hungry. So then I'm up, then I'm mobile, then I'm getting dressed, then I'm brushing teeth, then I'm, doing all this other stuff to get out the door. And life goes on. Usually, I always had the idea that life needed to come to a complete stop, but that's not possible for any event. My one of the supervisor people at my job said, don't get too comfortable. They replaced Kennedy in 15 minutes. And which is, if you've seen a lot of memes, you've probably seen something to the effect of, they'll post your job description before your obit hits the paper. Keep your priorities straight. And that's something that kind of stuck with me. I like my job, and they're nice people, and after being there for 10 years, it's enough to live on. So I don't miss my 20s because I was broke constantly, and I'm not looking to get back into that space either. So we'll be dealing with some things relating to money, Mark and I, and that's not a touchy subject, but we manage money very differently, like tracking and cash versus credit and all that kind of stuff. And not that I don't screw it up terribly, a couple times in my adult life, so goes, but again, we have separate accounts. We have separate checking, and then we have joint savings, and then we have a Cash App card, and that's, I think, his name's on it, but I've used it. And life has just continued. Mark's been cooking a lot still, so I've been getting to eat a lot still. He made some desserts. He made an icebox pie. He had made some soup. So he's back in the kitchen doing his thing. He's saying less about being in pain. He's not wobbling as much. And he can sleep comfortably. So comfortably that with his phone as a foot from his ear, he won't wake up when it's screaming. So that leaves us in a little bit of a better spot than the last mental health check-in. The other big concerns that I had just for myself last time was the crying jags, which I haven't had any. I have some anxiety-provoking things that might be coming up within the next month, but nothing like tomorrow that needs to be handled. And we're just trying to go with the flow. Just go with the flow. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I can say in my mind to whoever, if anyone, I'd really like this to happen. The only time I do that is when I bargain with God to buy a scratch-off ticket, and it's like, I swear, God, I'll give half of it away if you just let me win. Please. Because it's all random, People have their lucky numbers and their amulets and things they touch, and I'm always stuck behind the guy at, the convenience store who's standing there with his eyes half closed, calling out numbers in, 642, 189, like he's channeling them, like he's barely looking. And I don't know. So, not really on lotto tickets. I had such a bad run with buying lotto tickets, the scratch off ones. It got bad. It was when I was sober too. But I bought like a $20 ticket and I won 100 and it was gone. It was all gone so fast. So all of a sudden I find myself buying lottery tickets with money I don't really have, or money that's for something else, or I'll just charge this and keep the cash so I can get those. That hasn't come back. That was a vice that came and went, thank God. And it went as quickly as it showed up. It was just one summer, a couple months, I got really into it. I did go to the casino without Mark one of those times. I was a little bit manic, so the idea of money becomes interesting. The idea of spending money and doing things became very interesting. Normally I wouldn't skip town, tell no one, and go gamble with the rent money. Normally I wouldn't do that. But when I was not quite myself, it happened. Life doesn't stop, though, just because we're not ourselves. Those of us who have mental health problems, or if you just have a hard time from time to time, that could be like anybody. You know, life still goes on. Like, I still have to go to work. I still have to eat, even if it's disordered in my head a little bit. I still have to show up on time, even though I don't see the point of it. I need to look after my partner and make sure he's okay and that he's alive and that he has what he needs, that he's mentally and physically okay. So aside from even the cats, I have Mark to look after too. Bandit looks after him just fine. Okay, just fine. But it was great. Today I was in a training from NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and they had someone discussing how to basically give your elevator pitch, that if you're going to be advocating for something on Capitol Hill, what can you say in 30 seconds to make your point without being like over the top with it and not including stuff that's unnecessary? And they'll probably just point you to a page and let you leave anyway. But we were talking about advocacy on the bigger scale. What can we do? Not just in our own community. And it was nice to be in that group. And the presenter was a peer specialist. And it just and she used to work with us. She worked with me a few years ago, and now she works for National Alliance on Mental Illness. And it was just so good to see her, because she's doing something else that she's very good at. She's working on a program and doing stuff that her passion is really in there with. So, couldn't be happy for her. Hope the same for myself. And please excuse the background, because Mark's not here and I just wanted to be folksy. So we'll catch up with y'all soon. If Mark has anything to share, he'll be doing not what I felt today, not what I ate today, and be in touch with that. So thank you all for joining me tonight. Thanks for watching. Please do subscribe, hit the notification bell. You'll get alerts when we have new videos and go live. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Contact info's below. Thank you, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow. All right? Look after yourselves, look after each other, and we'll talk soon. All right? Bye!